Welcome back to the You Are Immeasurable podcast, season 3. This season is going to be dedicated to those of us that are on our journey of healing and transformation. The focus of this season is going to be to identify and recognize healthy and unhealthy relationship dynamics. We're going to talk a lot about the spiritual tools that we'll need to become acquainted with to help us to stand, to operate in, and to flourish as our authentic self. Things like shadow work, energy healing, which will help us to shred or shed the guilt, the shame that we've been carrying, and also to do some much needed subconscious reprogramming. Now, as always, the episodes are going to air weekly, and the purpose of them is to support you as you embrace and become acquainted with your enlightened and untethered higher self. So I want you to grab your water, your juice, your wine, or your tea or your coffee, and let's toast to each other and our growth, our elevation, and abundance. Welcome back to the You Are Immeasurable podcast. Today, I have a beautiful, beautiful young lady with me. Her name is Jenn Ritt. She is a holistic nutritionist and hypnotist, and she is the CEO of the Ritt Path. So, Jenn, I want to say thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. And I appreciate you coming to share your magic, your knowledge, and your wisdom, and all of the beautifulness that is you. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you so you can introduce yourself to everyone and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. My first passion in life has always been holistic nutrition. And as I was working through my certification, I started to see how much the mind and body connection was related and how important the mind connection was to your health. Even more so than nutrition, I think that they're finding out now. And so I really got fascinated with hypnosis and got certified in hypnosis and brought the two together, the holistic nutrition and the hypnosis, into my packages. And I mainly work with women in midlife that are going through menopause and transitions in their life in midlife, whether they've just become empty nesters or finished taking care of their parents or divorced, or that just kind of want a clean, fresh start with their health and their fitness and their nutrition. And then, to really go in and give their mind and their subconscious an overhaul too, because once you can kind of break through those patterns and old beliefs and that old outdated wiring, you can really just really make some major transformation. So that's where my journey has led me, and I'm loving it.
I love that, giving yourself that clean start.
Yeah.
And I realized that, and I think I was kind of thinking about this after our conversation the first time that we kind of connected, that, I was thinking about it from the standpoint of, I've noticed in my own life that it seems like every 10 years or so, I have to make changes to like how I eat, the things I eat, even like, how I'm cooking in the house and things like that. And I'm like, I never started looking at it from like an energetic level or a spiritual level. It's that thing you're like, oh, okay, I must be getting old. This, that, and the other. Or I just turned 30. So, whatever. Or I turned 40, or now I'm turning 50. So you have to move stuff around. So I totally get that. Now, what I do find interesting is the whole hypnosis part of it.
Yeah.
I'm a Reiki master, so I'm all about energy healing and all of that. And I never thought about it, I think, until we really talked. I'm like, I guess hypnosis would fit in that vein, in that realm, to help you organize what's going on up there in your head.
Yeah, it's really super fascinating in that your subconscious is like 90% of your brain. And its job really is to assess all these memories and all these different things that have happened throughout your life and then kind of put it in its little category in your head. And there it stays in that category throughout your whole life. And you form these patterns and thoughts and beliefs off of what's in your head. And at this point, it doesn't even make logical sense anymore because a lot of these things are, first of all, situations that you're no longer in. Well, almost all, but they're also, from childhood. So that your perception now as an adult would be completely different than a child. And most people don't or aren't aware that you can change that programming. You can go in and you can change all of that. We're so fortunate to be able to do that because then you can really make massive transformation in your life. Otherwise, you're going to run into a lot of roadblocks when you're trying to make major changes because
Absolutely.
subconscious wants to keep you safe right where it is. Familiar, you're safe there. If you're, not putting yourself out in these different situations, then it's very happy. So you have to really change it.
Yeah. And you know what though? It's amazing that, well, I guess I want to ask you this. How often do you have to tell people that? Because I feel like I do constantly, both with clients and like in my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those things that, we're just floating along, do.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't even think about it.
We don't. No, we don't. I, for one, I have to make a conscious effort throughout the day to if I'm noticing a thought pattern, stop it, turn it around, make it, into something positive and self-nurturing. Yeah, you definitely do have to. And a lot of your clients, like I said, or my clients aren't aware that their thinking and their habits are all programmed.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking about it now more than I ever have. Like growing up, all the people that I heard say, well, this is just me. This is just who I am. Well, this is just me. This is just who I am. And it's like, okay, now I'm realizing that you do know that you're choosing to be that way.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
It is a choice. Everything is a choice.
Yeah. And very much, that statement is an excuse, right?
Yeah.
And it's usually after they've done or said something horrible to somebody or hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. And it's like, yeah, no, you're choosing to be like that. You don't have to be that way.
No, that's very true. And I think, as far as making big changes in your life, as far as in wellness and health and all of that, people don't realize that your mind has so much to do with making changes. And,
Right.
part of my mission really is to teach people that our body is completely equipped to heal itself. And it starts with the mind. I just want to get the word out to as many people as possible. It is a choice. If you want to heal, if you want to be in good health and you want to make changes and transformation, it is completely within your grip. You just have to make the choice and take the step. And that's why you and I are both here to help people, to help guide them through this.
Yeah, absolutely. I find myself a lot of times saying, okay, so what is it that you want? Or do you even really know what you want? And if you can't describe it to me in like something tangible, like a car, a house or whatever, because those things are honestly easy. But when it comes to sometimes when we're really thinking about those questions like, how would you feel if, or what would it feel like if you hit the lottery and, you got a $10,000 check every Monday for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
How would that feel? I find that it sounds great and it sounds exciting, but because you've never really explored something like that, you really don't have the words or what have you to explain it. And I find that that's the same thing with, okay, if you make a decision to change your cycles, change your beliefs, change the way you look at the things that you maybe never thought possible. How would that feel or how would that be?
Yeah.
And it kind of turns into one of those stumping questions
Yeah.
where, people are just looking at you like, wow. And it's like, again, you don't have to stay how you are or where you are, but you also have to have an idea of, this decision that you're making to change and what you're wanting to change into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it might look like and feel like. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really important to spend some time thinking and exploring that too, because there's a big component of actually being in, kind of putting yourself in that energy and feeling and envisioning what it is that you want. So I 100% agree with you.
What is it? Where your thoughts go, the energy flows, or it's something like that.
Yes.
Again,
Yeah.
thinking about when it comes to, okay, I'm going to make these changes. Like you said, allow yourself to envision it
Mm-hmm.
and allow your
In it.
imagination to just go wild with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because again, that's part of the change. That's part of the
Yeah.
transformation, to let your energy begin to feel into
Well,
what that
yes.
could be.
And what do you think is more productive? Doing something like that, envisioning what you want for your future and feeling those emotions and being in it, or sitting there worrying about the future and thinking about the past and having regrets? I mean,
Right,
yeah.
right. And I think that it's gotten so embedded in us that operating in that way is a fairy tale. And I don't have times for fairy tales. I have to live in reality and whatever. Again, not understanding that, hey, where your thoughts go, your energy goes. Your energy is creative.
Yeah.
Your energy makes shit happen.
Right. If
So
you're focused
why
on all this big ball of negative stuff, that's what you're going to get, is the big ball of negative stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And even to the point that, as you just said, if you sit there and worry about it, because your energy is now going there, so it gets bigger and bigger and more constricting, more suffocating, because you're putting your energy into it.
Yeah.
How about putting it over here into what'll give you some release and what'll give you some
Joy and
all of that.
all that negative stuff is also affecting your health. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So is that kind of how you brought the hypnotism? Is that what it is? Hypnotism?
Hypnotism. Yeah.
See, I'm about to tear that word up.
I think there's a lot of misperception about hypnotherapy or hypnosis. I think a lot of people think it's a party trick, and they're a little bit it's a little woo woo or hocus pocus for them. So they're scared of it, but it's a science. It's a proven science. It works. There's nothing to be scared about. It's just, you're just in a very relaxed state. I do advanced conversational. So we actually are in a conversation. It's very client led. I find it extremely beautiful. Basically what I'm doing is I'm exhausting your logical mind. So it's just saying, I'm tired. I can't think anymore. So then your subconscious can step forward, and I ask it a lot of questions, and the client kind of guides through the process, and the subconscious isn't linear. So what will end up happening is we'll start with one issue or problem, and it'll go into like all these different tangents and all these different knots and all these different areas. And by the end of it, I'll say, so what's your problem feel like now? And most often it's like, I don't even remember what the problem was. And there'll be all these, all these epiphanies of all these things and all these ideas and beliefs and things that you have in there that you didn't even realize were in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just kind of untie, unbury, untie, and it just really shifts your thinking.
That is the part that I find amazing, because I've seen it in what I do. As far as the Reiki sessions, I do cord cuttings, and I even do visualizations, especially when it comes to dealing with shadows and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more, I'll just say it's a lot easier when it's not so conscious mind focused.
Oh,
because
100%.
your conscious mind is always trying to, okay, well, don't say it like this because we don't want to sound like that.
It
And
is.
it's constantly trying to tweak it and make it fit a specific mold.
Yeah.
But once you, like you said, once you get that out of the way,
It flows. It
it
flows
flows
beautifully.
so much easier. And you find that things that people have had buried and have been avoiding for years
Yeah.
and years and years. And then once you get that conscious mind out of the way and they go through there and they deal with it,
Mhm.
then you have that, well, what the hell was I scared of
Oh,
in
yeah.
the first
Yeah.
place?
Sometimes you'll even have like just backwards thinking.
Yeah, true.
You get in there and you're like, oh my God, wait, that doesn't even make any logical sense.
Yeah. And again, going back to a
Yeah.
lot of those early beliefs are from the standpoint of a child
Yeah.
who had no idea really what the hell was happening or
Yeah.
what was going on. You know, they didn't have the experience or the emotional depth or the strategic know-how or whatever to navigate all of those things happening in the big world around them. So they put a label on it, and like you said, and now it's stuck for
Yeah.
30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And
I
then you
mean,
realize, well, what the hell?
for me, it was my mom coming home from the hospital with my baby sister. I perceived it as I wasn't worthy. My mom didn't love me anymore and I didn't fit in. And I carried that with me for a long, long, long time until I started doing the work and I unwound it. And I was like, whoa, that was not the case.
Right,
But that was what I perceived.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So, and
Yeah,
everybody has their thing.
yeah. And I find that for me, I constantly reassure people that to stop looking at it from the standpoint of something must be wrong with me.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why. I probably need to look into that. I don't know why that's the go-to when you're smaller. Maybe just because that's all you have. You
Yeah.
know, you either like me or you don't. You know, at that point, those are your options there. So maybe that's how we constantly, or so many of us have
That as we
that
go.
we have to contend with.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because as babies, I don't want to go too deep into all of this, but we're born so pure and that's not even a thought in our heads, but we get conditioned. And it's interesting how fast we get conditioned to form those kinds of beliefs.
It's something that I explain a lot as far as like, the subconscious to help everybody to understand how it works. And I always explain it that, hey, just think of it like it's a recorder. As a little one, hey, you've got all the space, sugar. You ain't got nothing in there. So everything is learning, everything is
Yeah.
new, everything
Yeah.
is an experience that you haven't had. And
Yeah.
so you're just soaking up everything. You're recording every damn thing. And then, again, you done used up on all the space by the time, well, not all of it, but you know what I mean. By the time that you get to a certain age that you're really starting to analyze things, you're really starting to look at it from this standpoint, that standpoint, and all of that. But your drive is full of all of the other stuff. So that's when you have to start making the decision on, how you want to think and how you want to move and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And then you have to put in the work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wish that for everybody. I wish everybody would put in the work and do this because for me, it's changed my life, and
Yeah.
and I'd love that for everybody to have that, that blessing.
I think that that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, it is.
Because we just want to help. We just
Yeah.
want to see people happy. And my thing is, I say it all the time. I hate to see people hurting.
Yeah.
I hate to see people hurting. And if my thing is also, okay, if I can do something, if I can say something or tell them something or show them something that can help ease that even just a little bit,
Yeah.
then yeah, I'm all in. Let's go.
Yeah.
I want to do
Just,
it.
even just kind of loosening it, like with the hypnosis too, we try to loosen up that very rigid thinking to just kind of loosen it up a little bit. So there's a little bit more kind of fluid thinking. Even if you can do a little bit of that and just create some awareness and some space.
Yeah, it'll change everything.
Yeah.
It'll change everything.
Yeah.
So when people come to you, do they ever come in and they're like, well, hey, I feel like I want to change my diet to blah, blah, blah. And then you get in there with them and then, you get into the hypnosis and all of that. And they're like, well, wait a minute. This isn't at all what I thought it was going to be, but this was everything that I needed.
Oh, definitely. Everybody has their own story. I've had clients that associated food with scarcity and lack. And so they were kind of like hoarding food and had this big aversion to like doing any kind of dietary changes. And then I had one that completely beats herself up after she goes through an episode of eating something she felt like she shouldn't. And so after hypnosis, completely shifted both of their thinking, completely shifted it. And they've changed their behavior and we've had great success. Everybody has a different story. And that's why I customize my program to my clients, to what their needs are. And you have to approach it differently depending on what's going on, in their
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do that as well because you never know. You just never know what's going to be that one piece that they respond to the most. Yeah. And so then you're like, okay, we need to do more of this. Do you want to do more of this? Yes, let's do more of that. And so then, you find that each and every one, yes, it's an outline or it's okay, this is basically, how the program works or what the program is, but you absolutely have to customize it for each individual because it's very different for each individual.
Yeah. And when I got certified in holistic nutrition, my intent was to go that route and do health coaching and that kind of thing. But then, like I said, I started to get really fascinated with the mind. And I realized that, like I said, everybody has their own unique belief system. And so you really have to tackle that and work with them on that before you can really go in and make a lot of significant changes. It just makes it a lot easier if your subconscious is on board with the changes. That way you're not going like this and starting and going backwards and starting and going backwards. You get on board and you go slowly, one step at a time together.
Having those tangible things that you can use as comparisons. I see it as, exactly what you just explained as something similar to like if you've got something going on in your body and maybe you need a procedure or what have you, they can't do anything about it if there's infection or anything, anything of that nature. They got to take care of that first.
Exactly.
They got to take care of that first.
Yeah.
Before we can really jump in here. And so, a lot of times what you just described as far as, getting the subconscious on the same page and at least open and willing to explore the possibilities, if you will. You absolutely have to do that or you're always going to have resistance.
Yep. It just completely shifts your thinking. So makes it a lot easier.
It does. I absolutely love this. Tell me about, do you have anything going on right now? Any events coming up or anything like that you'd like to share with us?
I'm going to do a mini workshop on the power of hypnosis, and everybody I've polled is very interested in the power of hypnosis paired together with weight loss. So I'm working on putting that together. At some point, I would like to do a cleanse, probably a little bit closer to the holidays. Just kind of a cleanse to get everybody geared up and ready to go into the holiday season, feeling good and spicy for the next couple of months. And then we'll start off the new year with a bang. I'll do like a big 21-day cleanse and launch a big program the first of the year. Currently now I've got 2 programs. I've got standalone hypnosis packages of 4, and they're 3 weeks apart. And then I have a package, which is the holistic nutrition with 3 hypnosis sessions, biweekly health coaching sessions, and a customized nutrition and lifestyle plan. And that also includes a food sensitivity test. That's my 6-month plan.
Wow, that sounds great. And we'll have all of those for anyone that's interested in connecting with Jenn. We'll have those notes and everything. I'm sorry, those notes, those links in the show notes. Oh my goodness.
It's been a long day.
My brain is like, you know what? I'm over this. I'm done. Time to check out.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, just hold on a little bit. Hold on. I have heard of people, working with nutritionists and bringing hypnosis and things into that. But I can definitely see how getting past like beliefs and things like that would definitely help with making those changes. Yeah, I like that. Okay. It has really been amazing talking to you and getting to know what you got going on in your world. I love that. I love your energy. I love how even in you just talking about what you do, you can hear that it's all about helping people and healing people and helping them get to a better place or space.
100%.
And so I'm all about that. And I'm excited and want to connect with anybody that, that feels that way. So I appreciate you again for coming and hanging with me and sharing your message with my audience.
It was such a pleasure. I love your energy too. I love our conversations. So much for having me here.
It is great. Again, thank you. Thank you so very much. Is there any last thoughts or anything that you want to leave us with?
I do. Just everybody take care of yourself. Nurture yourself, take care of yourself, tell yourself good thoughts. And that's it.
I love that. Again, thanks, Jenn, for coming by. And for everybody else, until next time, cheers to your transformation. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the You Are Immeasurable podcast. Please remember to subscribe so that you can be notified whenever new episodes are dropped. Also, I'd love to have your feedback and your comments as well as your 5-star rating. Additionally, if you'd like to connect with me, the show notes list all of my social media handles so that you can do so. So until next time, thank you so much and cheers to your transformation.